So BMW i4 check-in. So we've had the car now for 3 weeks, and I did my first video last week, which was a stand up and do some filming. But I'm just sat in it now, having been out to Dubbies and Tesco's and the dump and done things I suppose everyone does on a Sunday afternoon. But I thought I'd do a quick check-in and let you know how we're getting on. So for my video of last week, I had quite a few conversations about range. Some people not think I should be sending the car back. So few things really we're learning as we live with an electric car. So this is my first experience of an electric car, and in deciding to make the change, I think I had the same anxieties as everybody else, which is probably about range and how far I can go. And I watched a lot of YouTube videos. R.S. Simmons, I think, wore his videos out, and lots of other ones of people's experience. Like everybody, all YouTube videos about vehicles, they tend to be done by people who are trying to sell videos or trying to earn a living reviewing stuff, as opposed to idiots like me who actually hand their money over and live with them. And getting hooked on how far I go on one charge is actually the wrong question, as I'm finding out, because it actually, on a longer journey, you get a lot more range. That's my findings. Some might disagree. It is similar to an internal combustion engine. It is the shorter journeys, the nipping in and out, going to Tesco's and back, where the range actually reduces quite significantly. So I think the highest indicated range I've had so far on a charge with 80% battery is 185 miles. This morning, after charging it yesterday, our indicated range was just over 200 miles. Today I've done 22 miles. And we have an indicated range of 175 miles on 71% of battery. So I said, like a bit of an internal combustion engine, these little journeys, just as an ICE engine, you use up more fuel, we seem to use up more juice. Also, because we've got the heat going, music going, or the radio going, so all the things are happening. So that makes life a little bit more... I was going to say difficult then, but it's not difficult. It's just something to get used to. The second thing we're getting used to, it's only 3 weeks, is running the battery down. Somebody made a comment about don't be frightened to run the battery down below 10%. So I thought, great, we'd do that. And actually, we charged it yesterday from 11%. But we had a couple of days where it was below 20. So the last journey I did was Friday. I went down the park with the dogs. Battery was at 15% and indicated 33 miles. I was only going 2. So whereas in my petrol car I'd be thinking I'd nip up and fill it full of juice before I go anywhere, I just drove and did it, came back, and then my wife went out the next day and she drove out with I think 11% of battery and 25 miles of range. Did 8 miles, she said, came back, still 11% of battery and 25 miles of range. So although the full indicator after charge might not be as high as I might want it to be, certainly not the 330 that BMW claim, actually I think the car is adapting to A, how we drive, and B, what sort of drives we're doing. And it is similar to an ICE engine then, that the short stop-start round town drives are less economical than doing a long drive. Be interesting how that pans out. Plus it's been a bit colder, apart from this weekend. It's been very warm up here. But it has been a bit colder and windier, so heat's been up. And my wife is never going to have the heat turned down to save battery. She's very much of the I'm cold, stick the heat up school of thinking. But the other good news with that is she really loves the car. So I love it. She absolutely adores it. Loves its comfort and ride quality. And now she's done charging, there's no issue of confidence. She's more than happy with the car and what we've got, so that's really good. I tend to have this showing as my dash, which is shows me MPH I'm parked at right now. It also shows me what kilowatts I'm using as I'm driving. She doesn't like that. She has a different screen altogether. Got lots of apps, so they're all wonderful. It all works well. It's not laggy at all. It all works very nicely. Put stuff in. It's all instant, so really love it. The BMW sat-nav is pretty good, which is quite remarkable for BMW. The cars I've had, generally their sat-navs have been rubbish. And of course you've got the Google Maps because it's all connectable wirelessly and all that. So tech-wise, brilliantly, and also learning more things. So learned that there's controls on the indicator stalk, so I can change the what it's showing me. So that's total miles since we've got the factory, and then we've got values individual, and then we've got values for this trip, values since charging. So it's given me lots of different information, which is quite fun. I'm just leaving it right now on values since charging. What else can I say about it today? Things that still, the only thing that really annoys me is the size of the boot. The floor space is pretty big. That's fine, but the way the roof tapers down takes a lot of capacity out. So compared to my GLC, which was, let's face it, a box, I don't seem to have the same capacity. So we're having to put less in the car, which is in one degree okay because it stops loading the car up with stuff that should be in the garage. And having two dogs as well, the back seat's full of dog beds and whatever else. So I know it's not a huge issue. Someone wrote in one of my comments, it's a first world thing. And it's not a deal breaker, but it is smaller. And also the door bins. I find these door bins pretty tiny. Again, compared to my GLC, which they were enormous. So, but I can store my phone down here. Those cup holders are fine. And then there is this space in here as well. Put in wires and stuff, which we never actually use. So that sort of thing is I wouldn't quite say, go as far as say annoying, but maybe not as great as the other one was. But other than that, we're doing really well. And to say there's a lot about learning to live with an electric car. And if you are out there looking at videos about electric cars, bear in mind they all do great range tests. They'll do Lanzo to John O'Groats and back and do it on one charge or whatever they decide to do it on. What you need to look about really is round town range. That's where you're using the car mostly. And it's the big consideration if you're buying one of these is, what do you actually use a car for? We don't do many long journeys, so having a 350 mile range actually is less relevant than I made it in choosing the car. Having said that, I'm glad we have got as an option, and I'm sure on a longer run we will appreciate that longer range. Who knows? When I do the long run, I'll report back. So that's where we are so far. So far, so good. Still very much enjoying the car. Important thing, my wife loves it. She can now charge. We're getting more range, even though we're just nipping around town. And yeah, it's really good. So look after yourselves and talk to you next time.